we kept him involved, and that was the biggest thing, and we made baseball fun. When school was over, he had somewhere to go year-round. Still can't wrap my head around everything that happened and how they survived.
My parents started a construction business when I was younger. My dad grew up in construction. His dad had a business, so he already knew the ins and outs, and things were going really well. Whenever the housing market crashed, obviously, just stuff got rough. He had a couple people owe him money.
Sean, his dad, had told me that, I know he was in construction. He ended up losing his job because there was no money. Honestly, didn't find out how bad it really got until earlier this year. My mind was blown. I had no idea.
It was rough in some ways, but I guess just being a kid, I didn't notice everything. It was probably tougher on my older brother and my older sister when everything went down. They were in high school and college. They were dealing with mean teenage kids, what they think. Honestly, my parents were great. The only things I really cared about were hanging out with my friends and playing baseball, and they kept me on a good team, and they made sure I saw my friends enough. It wasn't too bad, just had to move houses a couple times. The 5th grade is when they shut down the company. We moved into a rental house 6th grade, and then 7th grade we actually had to split up. My mom and I moved in with my cousin up by the Mall of Georgia. My brother and my dad moved into Duluth with my grandpa, and so that was a little rough, just not seeing them as much.
It'd be way too easy just to roll over and, go down that wayward path or just give up altogether. If you're blessed enough to ever, talk to the family, you'll understand that they don't have that in their DNA, which is what makes him such a phenomenal baseball player and a student.
I played on some North Gwinnett travel teams. Obviously, whenever the business went under, I went from probably the top team at the North Gwinnett travel to one of the lower teams, just because it costs less. I always had a good coach that believed in me, and I had my dad and my mom and worked hard. Coach Wyman, yes. He's definitely one of the coaches that believes in you. Like I said, trying to think of the best way to put it, but he's just one of those guys that, like I said, he's going to give you opportunities. And he knows the story, so he knows that we struggled. And
you go from a situation where everything was great to all of a sudden the rug's pulled out from underneath you to now their lot in life is better than it was before. It's almost like a made-for-TV movie that it ends up being so bad, but ends up turning out so good in the end.
Since I'm the youngest kid, I think they were trying to see if they wanted to wait until I graduated high school and then redo everything, or if they just wanted to ask the kids to make a sacrifice and start earlier, and that's what they did. So they just shut down the business. My mom went to college to finish her degree and then went to law school, and now she's a lawyer. And my dad got his pilot's license, and he's been working his way up, and now he flies for a private company. I don't know what I would do in that situation, having 3 kids relying on you and then having to restart your career for both of you, splitting up, not seeing each other for a year. That's definitely rough, but I'm proud of them more than anything.
He doesn't take anything for granted. When you tell a player you never know when it's going to be your last play, your last day, something could happen, he literally puts that into everything that he does, where he knows that every single ground ball, fly ball, pitch, at bat could be his last, and he treats it like that, which is what makes him such a special young man.
Probably better for me, growing up, having to actually work for stuff. I'm sure even if we had it made, my dad would have made sure I took care of my business, worked hard for whatever I needed.
Nick does everything well. He's one of those kids that you have to shut the lights off on him to get him out of here. He stays after, hits in the cage longer than anybody else. First one in the weight room, last one out. First one on the field, last one off. Pitcher, outfielder. We had him at first base a little last year because we needed him. There's really not a place that he can't play. He's dual enrolled for the 2nd year in a row. I think by the time he graduates, he's like 1 class shy of being a junior in college, which is mind-blowing to me. Everything he does well.
Right now I'm looking, I might go play with Southern Wesleyan, I might go play at Covenant. I still haven't decided yet.
It would have been unbelievably easy for him to walk away, not only because of finances, but also people like that, students, young people, walk away from adversity so easy nowadays, and they end up turning to other stuff. And it very easily could have gone that way, but he's one of those guys that he saw baseball as a refuge, it's a safe place. This is where he came to get away from everything.